overwhelming.
Pricing, phone calls, showings, negotiating offers. Did I mention the paperwork and baking all those cookies for open houses?
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
For stress-free selling, click the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
You're finding Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests in studio today are from the Clinton YMCA. Executive Director Rennie Cluver with us today. Good morning, Rennie.
Good morning, Seth.
What a great fall day we have here. And introduce us to Melinda Akers this morning.
Yes, I brought with me today Melinda Akers, who's our youth and adult sport director and really youth programming director. Mm-hmm. And so she's slowly taking the lead on a lot of that stuff. And she's doing a great job so far. I think she's probably, 3 weeks into the job? 4?
About a month.
Yeah.
About a month.
Yeah. Welcome, Melinda.
Hi.
I'm excited about this.
I'm excited too.
We usually only get to talk, when we're sweating and we're out of breath and those sorts of things, or we're talking about our kids' soccer and that sort of stuff. But welcome in and welcome to the Y.
Hey, thank you.
Talk about your first month. What do you think?
Well, things have been going good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I've been into soccer, and that's been going good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the Y atmosphere. I've been a member and really an employee for about 5 years. So I through fitness and just to be full-time is awesome. So
I
get to work with people that I love and, be at a place that I love. And
talk a little bit about, you mentioned you've been leading fitness classes at the Y for several years now. Talk a little bit about how you got started on that and how that led you to the youth and adult programs director.
Sure. So, I just started taking fitness classes, and then I was like, I could never miss a class. Like it was just something I put on my schedule and I went. And so I think consistency and just led me to want to do that. I wanted to be an instructor. So I trained in my first program about 5 years ago. And I am now certified in 4 different programs. I currently only teach 3, but I love it.
Sure.
Yeah.
When the opportunity came open, I know Rennie had talked to me about keep folks in mind who you think would be good at this. What did you think when you first heard about this? Was it you just saw it and it was like, okay, that's cool. They're looking for somebody. Or did you see it and you were like, ooh, that looks like something I could do?
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this.
Really?
I have to apply for this.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm already in the Y in a way. And, I love kids, so that helps. And it was just something that I saw an opportunity and I didn't want to let it pass me by without taking a chance on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, did you talk with Rennie about what the job looked like? Did you two have conversations? What was that like?
Yeah, I did. I originally reached out to Gretchen to find out more about the job, but then I did end up speaking with Rennie about the job and what it entailed because I was so excited. I was like, oh, there's a full-time job at the Y. I have to apply for this. And then I was like, oh, I should probably know all of the details before I apply. But as we were talking, it was just like, yeah, I can totally do this. So,
Rennie, talk to me a little bit about the Y's need for this position. I know David Torbert had this for a while, and obviously he passed a few years ago. And so this position has been somewhat in limbo. And just kind of speak to what you were looking for and why getting this position filled was important to the Y.
Well, yeah, going back to when we hired David for this position, it was the decision, myself and the board, of the need, not necessarily the need, but the importance of what we do as a YMCA, the mission in the community. We know that a lot of it, the majority of it, focuses around youth development. And we're okay with that. We do, and we feel like we do that well. Bringing in David, we saw the need that we have to get on top of our youth programming so that we're providing a programming that is quality and it can grow. Well, and the sadness behind David's passing, and that just kind of put us all back. Like, okay, can we continue to just kind of let youth programming still went on, but we had some goals set 4 or 5 year goals for youth programming and adult sports.
Right.
And so we met again. It came up like, what are we going to do with youth sports? Well, it got to the point where I could not continue to make the youth programs go better. I could just keep them above water.
Mhm.
And I know that that's not what we wanted. So then I petitioned the board and said, I think it's time to look for that special person again.
Mhm.
And so we posted it. And then we were lucky enough that someone internally like Melinda's organization alone was a huge benefit. It gave me a big relief. I mean, this is a position that I just can't hand over to anybody. And it takes a lot of organization and desire. And her already having drank some of the YMCA Kool-Aid,
Right.
fitness instructing, it was a great transition into this position.
You talked about the goals that the Y had when David was here. Did you have I'm sure you have by now, but did you share some of those with her to say, hey, this is what we were doing, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to achieve? How about that?
Well, I remember when she'd reach out to Gretchen and Gretchen reached out to me right away. Hey, Melinda is interested in this position. And so I knew I was excited, but we actually had an informal interview prior to the formal interview. And so I brought her in and said, Melinda, I am super excited that you want this, but I want you to know what it all entails before you say, yeah, I want to go to the formal interview process.
Right.
And so we sat down and I went through, hey, this is some of the typical hours. A lot of times your evenings may be spent up with soccer practice, basketball practice, games on Saturdays. And so now I said, there's room there for someone to come in and schedule it that doesn't have to overload it in the evenings. But this position also has the flexibility that if you're working a practice in the evenings at CES, then you don't have to be at the Y all day. I mean, so the flexibility with this job is a huge benefit. And so, and Linda's working with it, what's going to work best for her and the volunteer coaches and just the different programming on what's going to work best. And it may change from year to year.
Yeah.
But I just want her to be healthy mentally with it and not be stressed out. And so we're just real cautious on, doing everything on a Saturday, being there from 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock in the afternoon can wear on a person. So.
Yeah, sure. When you had that conversation with Rennie, Melinda, what did you think? What did you come away thinking?
Well, I was obviously very excited. And taking into account all of those things, I came from a background where I was made to be more, do more.
Okay.
And so working like a 9 to 2 on a Saturday is not anything for me, but but now, I do, but I appreciate that he takes that into account, that he thinks about that, because then that tells me that he cares about his employees, which is a great value to have whenever you're wanting to have, employ somewhere full time. So yeah.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what were some of the things that Rennie told you that you were expected or that were expected of you in terms of, this is the direction we want to take the programs, these are some of the visions we have, what's kind of on your plate, I guess, as you take this on?
Yeah. So youth sports, so we're in soccer right now, and we'll be coming into basketball, which we can chat about, but also adult sports. So bringing that back to the Y, that's, I've been coming for 5 years, and I know that there were, like a couple years ago, there was an adult basketball, but I think adult sports would be fantastic for our Y.
Right.
And Y Zone, a part of that. So the before and after school program. And then just assisting with camp. There's somebody to run camp, but just, kind of being an extra person for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, again, Melinda Akers is the new youth and adult program director at the YMCA, with executive director Rennie Cluver in studio with us here for this morning. Let's break down a couple of those. You talked about youth sports. What's your vision for youth sports? I mean, do you want to enhance what's already there? What do you see? Where do you see youth sports going at the Y, Melinda?
Well, in terms of where it's going, I just think we need to really develop skills younger. And really focus on the skill development. And that comes with, having coaches, volunteer coaches, and having them being on the same same wavelength as us as far as developing the skills
Sure.
and sportsmanship and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
because they develop at a young age and then they
Right.
take that forward into grade school, junior high, high school.
And
So,
having good people to set good examples in those things. And
absolutely.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Rennie, I know you're big on getting the high school involved and obviously close with coaches like Coach Binkley, Coach Bass, now Coach Ennis in baseball and those sorts of things. Will it be your goal to introduce Melinda to those individuals and have her be kind of the go-to point for them going forward? How about that?
Yes. And so we've already talked about it. Youth basketball registration will be coming up probably the first part of November, with the season starting that first week. We come back from Christmas break in January, runs through the end of February. And we've already put into process the plan to have another open clinic for all the kids, which we invite the high school basketball team and the girls team with both coaches to come and basically run the clinic.
Right.
And with me being directly connected to the high school basketball program, I'm a very good conduit on, when Melinda talked about skill development. So let's just take basketball, for instance. I can sit down with her and be that conduit. She doesn't actually have to go and talk to Coach Binkley, because I'm going to do he's on the same wavelength as I am, and kind of help our volunteer coaches and Melinda understand what we're trying to accomplish with the program. But it's always nice to have high school players involved. If it's helping to ref or do the clinic, we want those kids at Y programming, youth sports, to look up to those high school kids, because it helps those high school kids know that, hey, these young kids are watching you. And so it's important what you do in the classroom, outside the classroom, because they want to be like you someday. And so that's where I'll have that connection. But anytime we can get involved with clinics and things where the coaches and kids from the high school teams can be there, it's just a bonus.
Sure. How much does the new gym provide opportunity, Melinda, for where you see things going?
Oh, huge. We can use it for practices. We have capability of having volleyball there. So that's great. And we can lower the rims down for the little kids. So that's really awesome. So yeah, it's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, friends, let's take a break here. Rennie, where do folks go to learn about all things Clinton YMCA? By the way, I should say this first. Anything Melinda we didn't get to with Melinda, or you want her to talk about that I haven't touched on yet with her?
I think we're going at a good pace.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Again, how do folks learn more about the
Check
Y?
our website or our Facebook pages. We're always posting things, what's coming up and registrations, but go to our website. Everything's there.
Fantastic. Again, that is Rennie Cluver, Executive Director of the Clinton YMCA, in studio with us. New Youth and Adult Programming Director, Melinda Akers, with us in studio as well. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
You can donate today.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yankee. Corn's down 3 to 4, and wheat has just turned lower in the last minute. We have December corn down 3.5, 4.89 3/4. March down 4, 5.04.5. July down 4 1/4, 5.17.5. November soybeans still up 3/4 cent, 12.81. January up 1/4, $13.25. May up 1/2, 13.26.5. December wheat down 1/2, 5.79 1/4. KC down 3 1/4, 6.65 3/4. Livestock were mixed. December lean hogs down 12, 69.37. December live cattle up 55, 187.30. November feeders up 12.5 cents, 251.70. Crude oil down $1.31. This is the RFD Radio Network.
Farmers significantly reduce input costs with Black Coral Minerals Food Grade Liquid Fertilizer and Biostimulant. It's non-toxic and non-carcinogenic. Save money. Supercharge root development. Improve till, porosity, and soil quality at the same time. Call 314-440-3662. 314-440-3662. Or visit blackcoralminerals.com.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Connexus will provide local, reliable, affordable, and speed of light fiber internet to Clinton. Get on the install list now by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Fiber internet is coming to Clinton. Get on the install list now.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, in the studio with us today, Rennie Cluver, Executive Director of the Clinton YMCA, New Youth and Adult Program Director, Melinda Akers, with us here today as well. And some big kind of news, I think, Melinda, out of Y-Zone, which is kind of under your umbrella now as well, it sounds like, is an adjustment to where kids are going after school these days. What's going on?
Yeah, so starting October 23rd, we are going to have the kindergarten and first graders be at the Lincoln School.
Mm-hmm.
And then second through fifth is going to stay at CES.
Mm-hmm.
We are hoping to do this because, well, at the beginning of the school year, we had some staffing things. And now that we're fully staffed, it'll just help better separate the younger kids from the older kids.
Okay.
And also older kids need help with homework and different things, and they can do different sorts of activities, whereas little kids, they don't have a ton of homework.
Yeah.
So
they just need to run off some energy.
Yeah, exactly. And the bigger kids, they want to throw the football around and play
a little rougher
basketball.
maybe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this will definitely help by having two different locations.
Sure. So this was a staffing issue, it sounds like then.
At the beginning of the year, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we that's all taken care of. So we are able to go back to two locations.
All right, easy enough. Is there a lot of logistical things, Rennie, that you've had to work on? I know, because I know, like, I remember picking my kids up from Lincoln School, and this is their first year where they're both at CES. So it's been nice to have one central point to go to. But was there a lot of logistical things to get this back to the way it was, or does it just kind of fall back in place?
I agree with you, Seth. In a perfect sense, it would be nice to have one location for a parent, because I know that some of them had them at Lincoln and CES, and so it was nice just to be able to go to one school and pick them up.
Right.
But from the standpoint of what's best for the kids in the program, it's by far better to have them separated.
Yeah,
and
I
for
didn't
our
mean
staff. No, and I know that.
Okay, cool.
I know that because I see both sides of it. So logistically, the only thing we had to do was, and the school's been great as a collaboration, is the busing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easy to call them and say, look, we just want everyone to go from all the kids from Douglas and Lincoln Y-Zone are going to CES.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is not something new. We've been doing this 2 locations for years.
Right.
We're just going back to it. So
Yep.
we had enough time. I contacted the school, and they're great with the busing, and we'll be on schedule come October 23rd, which is a week from today.
Sure, easy enough. I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. Any days coming up where kids will be in like Y-Zone Extreme, where it's like all day care? Is there any?
In November is our next Y-Zone Extreme Day, the day before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we'll have an Extreme Day.
Okay.
And then the Friday after, there will be no Extreme that day.
Okay, so
yeah.
Thanksgiving and Black Friday are off.
Yep.
Off days.
Yep.
Very good. And then, of
Got it.
course, we get into Christmas break, and I'm sure we'll talk about those things as we get closer. Melinda, let's dive into here. We've got a few minutes yet still with you. Let's talk adult programming. And you mentioned bringing back basketball. Like, I remember, getting out of class with you, and there'd be, guys in the gym playing basketball and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
What do you have planned for the adult activities?
So adult basketball is going to be starting in March. And it's kind of, we've got ideas out on the table right now, but we're hoping to have that at the YMCA 1 or possibly 2 nights a week, depending on how many teams we have. We hope to start the signups for that probably in mid-January, early February. But yeah, that's for adult basketball.
Okay.
We've got adult volleyball that's
Mhm.
going to be starting in January. So we're hoping to get the registration out for that as soon as possible. And we're just wanting to drum up some excitement for that.
Mhm.
So look for a post on Facebook about that to get your teams ready.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can register as a team, but you can also register just as an individual too.
Good point.
That way, if you don't have a team, don't feel like you can't register for
Okay,
that. So yeah.
And that is co-ed.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we're still working on the details on what that looks like. 'Cause I know there's a lot of rec leagues and Ys that run an adult co-ed volleyball, and there are some stipulations. You got to have so many girls and so many guys on the floor
Mhm.
at one time. You can't just be heavy. I mean, we could go and recruit some Division I college girls volleyball players and put all 6 of them out on the court, and they dominate. So
Right,
we want to
yeah.
make sure it's even.
Yeah, very good. So, anything else on adult programming, whether it's basketball, volleyball, anything else you envision, Melinda, or hoping to develop over the years?
Well, we also were hoping for youth volleyball as well.
Mhm.
So after in the springtime, youth volleyball, and then we also have flag football as well, which I know the Y has done before. But volleyball has been something that we haven't done in a while.
Gosh, I think Lila was the last. My daughter was the last one, and I'm saying maybe she was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and she's a sophomore now.
So been a little bit.
Spend some time.
Yes, it has. It has. Very good. Melinda, you sound like you've been at the Y for a generation now. So
well, good.
Yeah,
good.
great
I'm
job.
glad.
Yeah, I should say there is no looking to Rennie for answers. Like a lot of times you get some of the new folks in, and it's like, well, I don't know yet. I'm still pretty new to the job. So you sound like a
make the
seasoned.
decision,
I'll
so I'm just
leave it here that, in talking about her organizational skills, it has allowed me to be more organized, and which is going to help the that's what my job is, right? To keep the ship going, the organization as a whole. And so it's been a great addition to our team. And I just see the future getting better and better.
Sure. Well, can't wait to talk down the road, Melinda. Thanks for doing this with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Rennie, I got about a minute. I want to ask you, how'd Apple and Pork end up going?
Oh gosh, it was great. Another great, and I think that was across the board for most of the organizations that were on the mansion grounds. We had the swim team potatoes and our pork cutlets. It's one of those things every year. Regardless, it is a benefit for our organization. It funds a lot, and it fills in some gaps in places that we have every year.
Sure. Very good. Well, glad things went well for you. What's kind of on your radar now as we get into, the end of October and into the holidays? What keeps you busy this time of year?
Oh gosh, keeping that ship steered. I would say when we get to this time of year, the budget is I start it in October, so I'll be doing it probably starting next week, and it'll run us through November. Want to have that ready to go for December 1st, and bringing Melinda in on that discussion so she can kind of see where she needs to work on budget for next year. I won't expect her to just come up with a youth sports budget.
Okay.
So that takes a lot of my time here the next couple of months.
Are you excited about having a budget to deal with now?
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Very good. Very good. Rennie, where do folks go to learn about all things Clinton YMCA?
Please follow us on Facebook or get on our website and hit all of the scroll downs. You can find everything that you want right there.
Easy enough. Rennie Cluver, Executive Director of the Clinton YMCA. Melinda Akers, the new Youth and Adults Programs Director, with us in studio. Network news on the way on the morning show.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM, W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The wait goes on for thousands of Palestinians at the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt. The BBC's Sebastian Usher reports Egypt has been reluctant to open the border to Palestinian refugees fleeing Gaza ahead of the expected Israeli military onslaught.
It's a very combustible situation down there. Egypt, which controls the Rafah crossing, does not want a huge influx of Palestinians. One, for its own security. Two, it doesn't want to be seen doing what would be seen in the Arab world, the Muslim world, as Israel's bidding. The fear, the concern amongst many Arabs is that once the Palestinians have left, they may never go back, and Egypt does not want to facilitate that.
The Israeli military says 199 people are being held hostage in Gaza. That is a higher number than previously reported. House Republicans planning a floor vote tomorrow as they try to select a new speaker, exactly 2 weeks after 8 of their members joined the Democratic minority in removing the previous Speaker, Kevin McCarthy.
The House has been in an unprecedented limbo since McCarthy's historic ouster. Republicans have named Patrick McHenry from North Carolina as the interim speaker, but they have been unable to coalesce around a replacement for McCarthy. On Friday, the House Republicans picked Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan from Ohio as their new speaker nominee, but he's still shy of the 217 votes he would need to be elected on the House floor. Jordan is expected to resume his hunt for votes after the House meets on Monday evening. Edwin Mora, Washington.
The nation's third largest drugstore chain, Rite Aid, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The chain facing declining sales along with opioid-related lawsuits. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow is up 384 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
An inexperienced politician who's also heir to a banana fortune has won Ecuador's presidential runoff election.
Supporters of President-elect Daniel Noboa celebrate as the son of Ecuador's richest man claimed victory in Ecuador's presidential election. Noboa's opponent, Luisa Gonzalez, told her supporters she welcomed Noboa as her country's new president, saying his win was a sign of democracy. In a victory speech, Noboa said his goal is to return peace to the country, to give education to the youth again, and to be able to provide employment to the many people who are looking for it. I'm Karen Chamas.
Projections show that the majority of voters in Poland's general election have supported opposition parties, those parties promising to repair the nation's constitutional order and its relationship with allies, including the European Union and Ukraine. It was a bitter and emotional campaign. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, if nothing else, President Biden's poll numbers are holding steady.
The tally comes from the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. It reports only about 4 in 10 approve of how Joe Biden is handling his presidency, while 61% disapprove, numbers which have stayed consistently low over the past 2 years. Drilling down, only 32% support Joe Biden's handling of the U.S. economy, while only 31% back his management of the federal budget. Separately, the RealClearPolitics.com weekly average of polls also shows Mr. Biden at just over 40% approval, 3 percentage points worse than his two predecessors, former Presidents Trump and Obama, at similar stages in their first terms. George Williams reporting.
Russian President Putin is visiting an ally. He is expected to meet this week with Chinese leaders during a visit to Beijing. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Tune in to any of our WEZC and WHOW platforms on AM/FM and streamed online this Saturday night from 7 till 9 in the evening for our annual Pigskin Playoff Preview Show. The show will have the first information on what area high school football teams make it in and who they'll play, plus live interviews with the coaches of the teams that make it in. It's all this Saturday night from 7 till 9 in the evening on 95.9 WEZC, 92.3 and 106.5 WHOW, and both stations' streaming platforms. The annual Pigskin Playoff Preview Show.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Mainly cloudy skies expected this afternoon with a high of 58. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies again tomorrow. Highs around 61. Upper 60s. Wednesday, low 60s. Thursday, with a chance for scattered showers. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 50.
is a chilly start to the week in the upper Midwest, but it has stopped raining, the sun is shining, and growers are looking to get back to harvest. We'll get an update on the weather outlook, talk used machinery values, and see what a senior GOP senator thinks about the chaos in the House of Representatives.
Live from your Ag Info PTO via Farm Journal broadcast, this is AgriTalk. This morning we begin with a conversation with U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley. Then it's Machinery Pete, Greg Peterson, and directly following the news, Brett Waltz from BAM WX. I'm a handsome newsman, Davis Michelson, and now the host of AgriTalk, Jeff Flory.
All right, Davis. Hey, buddy. Welcome to another work week.
Yeah,
Here
man.
we are. Are
Here
you
we go.
excited?
Power takeoff time, baby.
It is. I haven't
You
heard
betcha.
that one before. That's fantastic.
Full bunny, people. Full bunny Monday
Full
morning.
bunny.
That's right. That's right.
All right. That's the way to hit the ground running on a Monday morning. Love it.
Let's hit
Love
it hard, folks.
Yeah. What a week we've got. We are going to be broadcasting live from the port of Grays Harbor on Wednesday. Now, getting there is a bit of an issue, so I'm going to have to be out of the studio. Big Apple Joe is going to be out of the studio, but I'm not too concerned about it because we got Davis. Davis is going to be here to keep the conversation going on Tuesday and on Thursday while Joe and I are traveling. But it's going to be a really interesting trip out to the West Coast. Take a look at what's going on at a major PNW port for shipping soybeans in particular out of the country and see what plans they have got to move a bit more soybean meal, because we've talked about it a lot on the show, but that seems to be the trend that we are looking at going forward. Welcome to AgriTalk. Boy, there's a preview for the week right there. I'm Chip. That is Davis.
Hello.
And it's kind of a really nice morning. It's chilly, but it's a beautiful morning up here, dude.
Oh, it's what I would call crisp down here as well, but sunshiny.
Outstanding. Outstanding. All right, Brett's going to be in here in just a couple of moments.
Yeah.
Give us an update on what to expect through the end of the week. Let's go ahead and get started on the news. What do you got?
Well, Chip, this morning, USDA announced daily sales of 200,000 metric tons of corn for delivery to Mexico and 183,000 metric tons of soybean cake and meal for delivery to the Philippines, both during the 23-24 marketing year.
Yeah, love to see Mexico continue to build that book. That is something that I think is really important. And then the Philippines coming in and booking up soybean meal. And I've mentioned this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. The Philippines a lot of times are just a hub for soybean meal exports. So bean meal will move into the Philippines. They import some for use. There's no question about that. But it might go from there to Thailand, might go from there to South Korea, might go from there to China.
Well, Chip, Israeli forces kept up their attacks on Gaza this morning after diplomatic efforts to arrange a ceasefire to allow foreign passport holders to leave and aid to be brought into the area failed. While the fighting is intensifying, market reaction remains relatively muted. That's kind of been the thought here since this started, Chip. Market reaction relatively muted.
Crude oil is down $0.50 this morning, 87.18 in the November contract. We've got equities are kind of on a tear here this morning and moving solidly to the upside. And we've got the grain markets are mixed.
Well, Chip, the House leadership saga continues with Representative Jim Jordan being the latest nominee to be the Speaker of the House, though Jordan faces an uphill battle. The House will reconvene at 5 p.m. Central Time today with a proposal to make Representative Patrick McHenry temporary House Speaker, gaining steam. Until Republicans can unite around a Speaker candidate, the House is poised to remain unable to conduct business, including the next steps for any new farm bill yet this year.
I don't know what the powers of a temporary speaker are. Are they the same as a speaker? Can go forward and conduct business with a temporary speaker? It's something that we got to look into.
Well, Chip, according to a report from Farmers National Company, combines have been rolling with farmers in fields a bit earlier than usual. That's thanks to dry conditions. Due to considerable variability in rainfall across Iowa and southern Minnesota, yields and prices are all over the board this year, according to FNC. Parts of eastern Iowa have dealt with extreme drought, and above average yields will be a rarity in that area. Rainfall in western Iowa and southwest Minnesota was a little better, and early yield numbers from that area have been a little better than expected. That's kind of a theme, Chip.
Yeah, I still don't buy it.
No?
You got to get into the late stuff, and we're not even halfway through.
Yeah.
You got to get into the late stuff, and once we do, I think we'll figure it out.
Well, on Thursday last week, USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service reported, quote, since June 2023, hot and dry conditions along the Mississippi River Valley caused river levels to dip well below historical averages. The net effect of smaller Gulf-bound supplies and higher transit costs is reduced competitiveness for U.S. corn. Despite U.S. production exceeding expectations in some areas, as of the week ending September 28, U.S. export sales data indicates accumulated sales and shipments of the U.S. 28% behind the 5-year average for the week.
Yeah, and I think it is getting better. I think there is a bit of improvement. I was on the river again this weekend, and I know that it has come up a little bit, but I don't know how long it's going to last. And these shipping issues are real. There's no question about that.
Well, and finally here, according to Axios, the Biden administration is planning to announce new controls on artificial intelligence chips and equipment that can be sold to China.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Davis. Let's bring in Brett Waltz, BAMWX.com. Good morning, Brett.
Good morning, Chip.
All right. It's beautiful to start the week here, but it sounds like we've got some more activity by the middle of the week.
Yeah, there's a little storm system that's going to push through parts of the upper Midwest, northern plains, and eventually into the Ohio Valley, but nothing like what we saw last week. It's going to be a weak system, pesky showers possible. Really, for many areas, especially the further west you go, it's going to stay pretty dry over the next week.
Okay. What about into the weekend and early next week? Well, take us into the end of the month. We've only got, we're at the midway point already.
Yeah, so after this drier period, we are going to start to see a warm up. Really, that begins this week across the plains, but it pushes further east with time as we work into the last week of the month. And with that, I do think that we need to watch for the plains to get more active again the last 5 to 7 days of the month. We're watching a couple of bigger storm systems possible, maybe some big ups and downs, some big swings as we work towards the end of the month and towards Halloween.
Okay, well, towards Halloween, there's a long history of those Halloween storms turning into a Halloween blizzard in the Midwest. You don't see that happening, do you?
I definitely wouldn't say that at this distance, but it wouldn't shock me if someone got some snow before the end of the month, given how the storm system looks to set up at the very end of the month. I'm not going to rule it out at this distance.
Okay. All right. Any trends that we need to be aware of out of South America?
Yeah, so it does actually look like Argentina, which has been pretty dry, can get some decent rain as we work towards the medium range, kind of 10 days from now, but still continuing to be drier in Mato Grosso, while southern Brazil probably continues to deal with an excess of moisture.
An excess of moisture there in southern Brazil. All right, Brett. Good stuff, buddy. Thank you so much. You have a great week.
Yep, thanks, you too.
All right, that is Brett Waltz, BAMWX.com. Coming up next, Senator Charles Grassley from Iowa, right here on AgriTalk. No doubt you've heard of MetLife, but did you know that MetLife Investment Management has over 100 years of ag lending experience? The MetLife Investment Management team maintains close relationships with its borrowers and can structure a customized loan with flexible terms to meet your financial needs. Looking to expand, refinance, or recapitalize? Consider MetLife Investment Management. Learn more at metlife.com/ag.
At Simplot Grower Solutions, success starts with seed. For each field condition, climate, and agronomic management style, your local Simplot Grower Solutions crop advisor can help you select and provide the seed that enables you to plant a strong foundation for the growing season. Our team of seed experts are committed to your success and will offer the support you need to optimize your yield potential. Contact your local crop advisor now for your best seed opportunity, or visit simplotgrowersolutions.com for more information.
anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
This is Andrew McCrae, host of the American Countryside. I'm also a farmer and rancher from Northwest Missouri, and I hope you'll join me each week for Farming the Countryside, as we take a look at the top issues impacting agriculture as told by the people farming and working in our industry. We'll talk about markets and trade, share some of the latest tips and trends for grain and livestock producers, and take a look at trends impacting rural America. Join me for Farming the Countryside on many local radio stations or on your favorite podcast platform, or just go to farmingthecountryside.com.
Looking for Chevrolet inventory? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have the all-new Chevrolet Trax, Blazer, and Trailblazers coming. Plus, several Chevrolet Equinoxes and Traverses are here. This month, take advantage of extra $1,000 trade-in assistance on your trade. There's always a need for quality trades here at Baum's. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
At Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, we want you to be a part of the program as well via the Archer's Alley Catch of the Week. Each week, we'll select one of your pictures submitted at centralillinoisoutdoors.com and invite you to tell your story of the great outdoors. We're looking for your kid's first catch or even your first big buck. There's a simple, easy form you can fill out on your phone or computer at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. Send us your story, send us your pick. centralillinoisoutdoors.com and the Catch of the Week, brought to you by Archer's Alley, North 22nd Street in Decatur.
This is AgriTalk being streamed at IllinoisFarmRadio.com from WHOW.
AgriTalk is brought to you by Phospholutions, which is excited to launch Rhizozorb, the first fertilizer technology proven across hundreds of field trials to improve grower ROI by 20% and maintain or increase yield with less applied phosphate per acre.
Welcome back to AgriTalk. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning, because it is time for a regular conversation with Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa. Senator Grassley, welcome back to AgriTalk. It's great to talk with you again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be with you, and thank you for having me on a fairly regular basis. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to my fellow farmers.
You bet. Well, we appreciate the time that you commit to it, sir. That's it's very generous of you. What's the harvest report from the Grassley farm?
About 20% of the corn left to do. I believe the beans are done. Okay. And I'd say, considering the fact that we only have 10 inches of rain, although we did get 1.5 inches over the weekend, but 10 inches of rain during the summer compared to 22 last summer. The fact that at the low end, about 50% of last year's production, at the high end, about 80% of last year's yield. Okay. So it's not a very good year for farmers, but I'm hearing that some people are getting, that got timely rains, that they're having just as good of a crop or a better crop than last year. So I'm glad for those farmers. And considering the fact that last year on our farm we had the best yield we've ever had, I don't think we can complain. And farmers know to live through good times and bad times.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's always talk of disaster aid, emergency relief for farmers. There was relief for the 2022 crop because of some of the drought out west. Should we be anticipating that there's going to be an effort to bring some disaster relief to for the 23 crop?
It'd have to be something that crop insurance does not cover. Okay. And you get these exceptional things when things that farmers have tools to protect themselves, and those tools don't protect them, then you have disaster relief. But don't forget, prior to 30 years ago, we used to rely entirely on Congress for what we call disaster aid.
Yeah.
So you always had these questions for farmers. Was Congress going to do anything? And if they were going to do something, how much money was going to be involved? And then when was it going to come? Yeah. So that's why crop insurance came into the game a few years ago, so farmers could manage their risk ahead of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I want to get to the Farm Bill, but I got to start it off with this question. And I realize that this is House business, but what are your thoughts on what is happening with your party over at the House of Representatives?
Well, when it comes to a farm bill, I'm not sure it makes much difference of the farm bill, because even if the House was in session and passed a farm bill, we got a major problems in the United States Senate with the farm bill. But on everything else, and particularly considering what's going on in the Middle East between Hamas and Israel, and the possibility that could be a much wider military adventure, particularly if Iran gets involved through pushing Hezbollah to invade Israel, that could be a major thing. And we shouldn't have a government shutdown. And in a sense, you've got the House of Representatives shut down now. And maybe some things need to be done yesterday in order to help Israel. Now, that isn't really true. I think we've still got time if they need more help to help them. And that help would be financial help, not American people involved over there, unless the situation got really, really bad. And I hope it doesn't. But the House of Representatives not functioning is holding all of that up. Now, the odd situation is the very same people that got rid of McCarthy 2 weeks ago were the very same people that for a month were complaining we weren't passing appropriation bills or allowing even bills to come up on the House floor for discussion. They get rid of McCarthy, and then they want appropriation bills passed. Well, we didn't shut down government 2 weeks ago, so in between then and November 17th, you had 6 weeks to get everything funded. Now they've lost entirely 2 weeks. If they don't get the job done today, could lose another week. So everything they've been complaining about that have brought the House to a standstill is basically working against their own interests that they've been complaining about for a long time.
Yes. Yep. I'm complete agreement with you, Senator. Complete agreement. There's talk that they're going to have a vote to make McHenry a temporary speaker. Would a temporary speaker have all the power of a Speaker of the House? In other words, would the House be able to go forward and do business?
They could do it if they want to, but right now I don't think the rules would allow it. So are they going to change the rules to allow that to happen? And with the controversy and the tumult that's over there, I doubt if they could make those changes. But they could do something along that line, but it wouldn't be, you don't really accomplish controversial things with that sort of a make-believe leadership.
Right. Right. You are exactly right there. You mentioned that that even if the House was moving forward with business and they were making progress on the farm bill, that there's a quote unquote major problem with the farm bill in the Senate. What is that?
Well, it's the fact that Democrat leadership in the Senate, they don't want to take money from one part of the farm bill and spend it in another part of the farm bill. If you're going to save money, it's got to be spent where you saved it. And we need more money for preference pricing because of the increase in seed, fertilizer, and chemicals. The figures that are in the 2018 Farm Bill are just not realistic, and we need more for ARC and PIC, and you can't do it if you don't take money from one part of the Farm Bill and spend it on preference prices. And the Democrat leadership does not want to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
So you, in a sense, when you got 85% of the farm bill that is nutrition programs, meaning basically food stamps, and the other 15% is protecting the farmer, it's not much of a farm bill if you can't even make accommodations for the increase in the price of seed, fertilizer, and chemicals.
Right. Okay. So is an extension of the farm bill now most likely?
Oh, I think I would have told you that maybe the last time you and I talked. Yes.
Yeah.
And now 2 or 3 weeks later from the last time I talked to you, the answer is more so, particularly with what's going on in the House of Representatives right now, let alone the trouble we have with a 5-year farm bill in the Senate. We'll get a 1 or 2 year extension.
Okay. A 1 or 2 year. Now, one thing that I didn't get a chance to ask you the last time that you were on and we talked about an extension was, what is the plan for the EATS Act, the proposal that would counter California's Proposition 12? Would that just not move forward if there's an extension of the farm bill? What's the plan?
It's very difficult to move new ideas into clean extension. It's not impossible, but the best chance of doing that would be through the 5-year approach.
Okay. I got to come back to Israel. Is there direct evidence that Iran supported Hamas in the attack, or are we looking more at Hezbollah?
No, it'd be Iran. Iran is supporting Hezbollah.
Yes.
And if Hezbollah is helping Hamas, it'd be the same as Iran helping Hamas. And there's no doubt that they have given Hamas the resources to do what they've done. And our government says that they have no direct evidence, but there's plenty of things going on that you just see over the weekend. The foreign minister of Iran sitting down with the heads of Hamas in the country of Qatar, that leads you to believe that they're very much involved in it. And we have 4 points of reference in the Wall Street Journal that refer to their even being involved in the planning of this.
Okay.
And I think that we got people in this administration that are want to befriend Iran more than Iran is entitled to be befriended.
Senator,
and
we are out of time. Thank you so much for your time.
My whole identity had been wrapped up in being a soldier. To have that so violently ripped from me when I was wounded, I was lost for a very long time. When Wounded Warrior Project came into my life, being around the other warriors, people that had similar experiences that I did, it was a game changer for me. Having King join the group, that was the beginning of a really good friendship. It's a good time.
I first heard about Wounded Warrior Project through CQ. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I qualify. But having been a part of it, it's kind of taught me that it's not just the wounds that you can see, but it's those that you can't.
When you do something like a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project and come together from different walks of life, man, the growth is incredible. If not for Wounded Warrior Project, I really don't think that I'd be here today.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. As Israel's military continues preparing to launch an expected ground assault on Gaza, thousands of people continue waiting to cross the border into Egypt. The Rafah border crossing has yet to open, although talks have been underway to facilitate the crossings. The House expected to vote tomorrow on a successor to Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio has been nominated for the post, but he apparently has yet to secure the votes he needs to get the job. Facing numerous opioid-related lawsuits and suffering sales declines, a store chain has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Putting Middle East war worries aside, Wall Street is rallying this morning. All 3 of the benchmarks trading more than 1% higher. The Dow is up, along with the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. More details at srnnews.com.
It's no secret that employers are having a difficult time hiring qualified personnel, whether full or part-time. The Miller Media Group wants to help you, the employer, to find the candidates you're looking for. That's why we've created IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. This website is part of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales@randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
All right, let's see here. Acuron corn herbicide. Powerful weed control? Check. Long-lasting residual? Check. Proven crop safety? Check. Acuron checks all the boxes, which is why it outperforms and out-yields all other corn herbicides by 5 to 15 bushels an acre. Talk to your local Syngenta retailer or visit findmorebushels.com to discover your revenue potential today. Always read and follow label instructions. Acuron is a restricted-use pesticide.
Let's face it, nobody likes to compromise. When it comes to your soybean fields, you shouldn't have to choose between powerful weed control and keeping your crops safe from stress and injury. Thankfully, there's Tendovo, a broad-spectrum pre-emergence herbicide formulated to fight weeds without sacrificing crop safety, delivering a higher potential yield for your fields. Tendovo, raising the pre-emergence bar one clean row at a time. Always read and follow label directions. Please check with your local extension service to ensure registration status.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
This is AgriTalk on 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, WHOW.
Opinions expressed on AgriTalk do not necessarily reflect the views of Farm Journal Broadcasting, affiliate stations, or sponsors.
Machinery Pete here, folks. This segment of AgriTalk brought to you by our friends at Dakota Ag Innovations, makers of Dakota Shine, the best way I've seen to fix faded paint. Go to dakotashine.com or call 888-996-7801.
All right, welcome back to AgriTalk. I'm Chip. Glad you're with us on this Monday morning. Great conversation there with Senator Grassley. Some big issues that still need to be resolved on the Farm Bill, which just means hey, let's get to work. Let's get this done. Let's get the appropriations done. Let's get the Farm Bill done. Let's get the business of the people done. And to do that, we got to have that speaker in the House first. And I don't know when we're going to end up with that deal. And a temporary deal with McHenry, it sounds like a bandage on a huge wound that is happening, and we need more than that. We deserve more than that. I don't think there's any question about it. All right, let's bring in Greg Peterson, Machinery Pete. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, Chip. And yeah, on the topic of politics, which I like to stay out of, I think maybe everyone should come out to an auction. We can stand around and have a couple hot dogs and watch some equipment sell, and things tend to get worked out that way. So just a thought.
Yeah, I like that idea. As a matter of fact, we can bring that auction platform into some sort of the negotiation process on spending and funding.
There you go.
Maybe we make it a Dutch art auction. Start high and work down.
Machinery Pete YouTube video will be there to cover that.
Love it. All right. Get us started with the pick of the week.
Hey, pick of the week last Thursday out in Cedar Springs, Michigan, a really nice farm retirement auction for Steve Warren, sale by Art Smith Auctioneers. 3 tractors on the sale really caught my eye, Chip. Pick of the week, I'd have to go with the 2007 the Case H Magnum 335. Nice tractor, 4,208 hours. So for $135,000, and when you massage the pricing data that we compile, 135, that's the highest auction price ever on a Magnum 335 with over 2,300 hours. And again, this baby was over 4,200. So, and it was over by not just a little, by $11,000. So very strong there. Again, pre-def, good condition, just red hot. Not just the red ones. There was a John Deere 8320 on the sale, an 02 model, so 21 years old, 4,551 hours. Same deal here. Went for $130,000. Third highest
Oh.
auction price ever. 8320 with over 4,500 hours. But the tractor market, again, it's not just the pre-def stuff that's hot. That same sale at a 14 model John Deere 6150R, pushing $2,700, went for $90,000, and it didn't have a loader with it. So again, when you look at the data, that's the highest auction price ever on a 6150R, 2,500 plus hours with no loader, by $6,000. So hot sale there last Thursday in Cedar Springs, Michigan.
Man, the tractor market is defying gravity.
Yeah, just no signs of cooling off, right? And we're drifting now into the year-end period, so it tends to get a little hotter.
Yeah, and I'll admit, I kind of expected that would that the impact of higher interest rates, that the impact of setback in farm revenue on the row crop side, that all of those factors that we've discussed several times would be working together to at least pull down the top end of that market. And I don't see any evidence that is happening, Greg.
Hasn't yet on the tractor side, Chip. Right. And I'm with you. I would have expected it as well. So here, I mean, you're going to have to bring forward the overall inflation. And I think even more important, I mean, this has been a truth all my 34 years covering the markets, but the price of new just keeps going so high that it just, well, I could give you another example on this topic. So let's jump to last Tuesday out in Baker, Montana. So they had a little farm auction out there with a 2021 John Deere 6195R tractor with a 680R loader, nice rig with a grapple, 725 hours. And we've talked a lot about loader tractors being hot. And again, not just the pre-def, but so this thing went for $192,500, which, I mean, again, when you look at 6195R auction prices, the highest I'd ever seen was just set back in June at 172 with no loader. So even with the loader to blow over 20,000 past it, that's a 2-year-old tractor. That's not a pre-def. So yeah, I mean, and even on the lower horse, which had been the one softer spot in the used tractor market, that has kind of firmed up a little bit. It's not as hot, but you get 40 to 100 horse. It's firmed up a little bit. So yeah, the tractor market's just very strong.
Okay. All right. Before we leave Montana, you got anything else from that auction? That sounds like a hot one.
Yeah, that was a good sale. Also, one of the hot sectors I've seen, augers, conveyors, really strong. So they had a 2018 Brandt 1547 LP 47-foot conveyor, excellent condition, went for $29,000. Again, that's 5 years old, almost $30K. I never used to see that. But again, same exact factor here is, a lot of people say, well, that's crazy. That's for a 5-year-old conveyor. But again, hey, dude, you want to buy a new one? What does that cost? So it's all relative, and it is what it is.
Right. Okay. Work it back our direction. Stop in Winter, South Dakota.
Yeah, this one made me smile last week. Grand Auction Service had a sale Tuesday. Massey Ferguson combines, always fun to see those out there. They had a sharp 1986 Massey 860. This one got a lot of action on our social media pages last week when I posted about it. 1,800 hours, one owner, always shedded, no heads, went for 16.5. And again, when you dive into our data, I mean, that's the highest auction price on a Massey 860 with no heads in the U.S. in 19 and a half years. You got to go back to March of 2004 in Drayton, North Dakota. So statistically, that was pretty interesting last Tuesday in Winter, South Dakota.
Right. Okay. Man, before we run out of time, you've got some industry news that we need to get to. Let's do that.
Yeah, big news last week. 2 items on the auction front. The consolidation and the aggregation is continuing. So the Steffes Group, fantastic auction company out of West Fargo, North Dakota. Everybody knows the Steffes Group. They're fantastic. They had a big announcement. They're a merger with Heartland Auction out of Kansas, absorbed into Steffes Group there. So hats off to those folks. Check out their website, steffesgroup.com. Tons of sales coming up. They do an awesome job. So excited for those folks there. And then also the good folks at Purple Wave online auction, which was started in the year 2000. big news there. They announced a partnership with an outfit called Copart, which you might not know the name, folks, but that's a worldwide leader in online auction space for automobiles. So you're bringing an international element there for Purple Wave, plus the advanced technologies and just a lot happening on the auction industry front with large firms growing in size and scope.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, when you look at something like Steffens, it's amazing just how much they have going on at any given time, Greg.
Yeah, and it's all about attracting bidders and buyers and eyeballs, and that's what's needed. It's that's why these auction companies leverage together, because they can bring more potential buyers to your equipment when they sell it for you. So it's a continual push for eyeballs, and yeah, it's similar to what we see on the dealership side. The big get bigger. I mean, a lot of people don't like that aspect of life, but I mean, that's just, capitalism at work, and that is what it is. So,
yeah.
But there's a ton of great advantages, that are behind these deals. So it's, again, at first blush, you can say, the bigger just getting bigger, but really it's done to better serve their customers.
Yeah. Yep. And, even if it's an international online auction,
yep,
the auctioneer's trailer and the hot dog cart is still going to be there on site, isn't it?
Well, it's it's a different world in the auction biz. Online sales are great, physical sales are great. We love them all.
That's right.
And on the topic of online auctions, I do need to mention on Wednesday, folks, if you're looking for a quad track, our friends at Matichek Implement out of Faribault, Minnesota, just up the road from me, 3 really nice late model quad tracks selling on an online auction. They got a pair of 22 model 620 quads, 808 hours and 1665 hours loaded up with all the warranties. And then they got a 20 model 540 quad, 2420 hours with a powertrain warranty to 3300 hours, or out into, I think, February of 24. So that's an absolute auction, no buyer fee on that one on Wednesday. Again, it's Matichek. It's Matejcek. If you're Googling it, Matichek Implement. Again, some 3 tractors there we'll have an eye on for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like that's going to be another test for that market, for the red market.
Yeah, you get up in the tractors to see how they're holding up. That will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Not a lot of time left here, Greg. What are you doing on social media? What you got coming up on Machinery Pete TV?
Well, Machinery Pete TV, we have some very interesting things coming out. I can't announce them yet, but we might have a special episode or 2 that will turn some heads. So stay tuned to our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram on that one. And always fun on social, just interacting with folks. I just need to say a big thank you to folks out there for following along, and the great interaction we have there. We have a ton of fun with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely we do. And with that in mind, thanks for making time for us again this week, Greg. We really appreciate it, and have fun out there on the road.
Hey, you bet, will do. And Chip, keep up the great work. Everywhere I go, people ask me about Chip Flory and AgriTalks. You guys are doing a heck of a job.
All right. That's very cool. Very cool. All right. That is Greg Peterson, Machinery Pete. And now when we come back, Davis and I have got a little bit more prep work to do to get us ready for what is going on this week. Like I said earlier, Big Apple Joe and I have got a big trip coming out to Grays Harbor. We'll get you up to speed on what's going on with that next here on
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
If your checking account doesn't come with discounts and offers on goods and services, it's time to get More For You Checking. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank offers 24-hour roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft aid, and discounts on prescriptions and much more. Wherever you go, More For You Checking benefits save you money on the things you're already paying for. Visit hbtbank.com and unlock the power of more. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank and Trust Company. Member FDIC.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
This is AgriTalk on 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, WHOW.
She's into one convenient product for your planter box applications. Say goodbye to planting skips with the seed fluency technology that results in better seed singulation, giving you a more precise planted crop. And this product is formulated with enzymes and zinc to promote early growth, leading to a stronger, healthier crop. Take control of your corn seed today with Brandt Ensup Seed Flow ZN, the ultimate solution for your planting needs. To learn more, visit brandt.co/take control.
At Simplot Grower Solutions, success starts with seed. For each field condition, climate, and agronomic management style, your local Simplot Grower Solutions crop advisor can help you select and provide the seed that enables you to plant a strong foundation for the growing season. Our team of seed experts are committed to your success and will offer the support you need to optimize your yield potential. Contact your local crop advisor now for your best seed opportunity, or visit simplotgrowersolutions.com for more information.
The Scoop podcast is where we talk about tight supply chains, emerging agronomic challenges, technology tools delivering ROI. I'm Margie Eckelkamp, editor of The Scoop and host of The Scoop podcast. Join me as I interview leaders from across the ag retail sector. Farmers are working hard for every bushel, and their trusted advisors are by their side. Find The Scoop podcast wherever you find podcasts so you are up to date on everything ag retail.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family. Come to VA.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no. So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The best talkers in ag, including you. Join the conversation on AgriTalk. Call us at 855-4-TALK-AG. And welcome back to AgriTalk, everyone, on your Monday morning. Your pal Davis Michelson here with Chip Flory.
Yes,
a couple of good conversations to start off the week there.
Yeah.
Let's just dive right in. to Senator Grassley's comments. Sounds like they're having a good time cutting corn there at the Grassley Ranch.
Yeah.
We'll start there.
But a yield of 50 to 80% of a year ago. Now, a year ago was a record, which is a great thing to compare to. Corn yield of 50 to 80% of it, that's a little sketchy. Now, soybeans, he didn't talk too much about that, but I know this from following him on Twitter. He wasn't very impressed with the bean crop.
Yeah.
So some issues there. But, when you look at where that little red dot was in northeast Iowa, some people, and that little red dot on the drought monitor, people that are inside of that area. Senator Grassley is one of them. I'm one of them. There are 20 bushel beans being harvested in northeast Iowa inside of that little red dot on that map. And that's why I keep saying, let's not get too excited about and make up your mind off the first half of the crop when there is a lot to be determined. And here's the thing. When you're running the combine and you're watching that monitor and you're looking at the whole field average on it, you're going through some buster corn and you're thinking, man, oh man, that yield average for the field has got to be climbing like crazy. And it seems like it just ticks higher. But when you go through that area in the field that didn't make a crop, and it's just didn't make a crop, that average for the field drops like a rock. And I just wonder if we don't have some of those corn yields, some of those, and a few of those bean yields, but some of those corn yields come in yet.
Shout out to the southern farming states. They're going to make up for some of the some yield losses that we might get there. I mean, northeast Iowa gets to take a turn, maybe some guys feeling like fringe acres. And meanwhile, we got the South growing buster crops down there.
Yeah.
All together could shake out to a pretty decent national average yield on both corn and soybeans, thanks to the South.
Well,
maybe. Am I overstating?
No, I think you're on the mark. On beans, I still think that there's quite a bit of risk. On corn, it's going to be at least the third biggest corn crop that the country's ever grown. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Given the kind of year that we've had, the drought resistance tolerance that is built into these hybrids now is it is amazing to me. Growing corn, if you can get it all at the right time and spoon feed that crop, if you can do that, you can grow a crop with about a third of what it used to be on rain. It's crazy.
I wrote down something that I think Senator Grassley said, and I'm going to ask you to check my work here, Chip.
Okay.
Did he say there's a major problem with the Farm Bill in the Senate?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
what was he
and
referring to there?
That's the funding.
Okay.
What he would like is some additional funding for Title I, which is the reference prices and the effective reference prices. We talked about that a little bit on Friday. Paul Neiffer had the details on what the effective reference prices will be. But if we could, the way things stand right now, the safety net that is available based on the current costs of production, is not much of a safety net. And that's part of the challenge of building a safety net based on an economic snapshot of a point in time. We did this back in 2018, took a snapshot and said, this is going to work for a long time. Well, I guess it did, but it hasn't been much of an effective safety net for the last, I guess I would say 3 years, just because of the cost of production. And especially on the 2023 crop, it was not much of a safety net. So the bottom line is there's money that is in the conservation title. Part of that money was moved over, or could be moved over, from the CCC, the Commodity Credit Corporation, and the funding for USDA's climate smart farming projects. If that money is moved over to Farm Bill in the conservation title, well, then the idea is that you could move it even further and move it from the conservation title to Title One, being the commodity title and the safety net program, to build a more effective safety net. That is what I think they're ultimately going to try to do. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately that is what they're going to try to do.
Boy, you get money sloshing around in Washington. There's no telling where it might end up.
Right. And how much spills when you start sloshing them.
Right? Oh, yeah. It's the, what would they call that? The feed and residual, maybe, category of the U.S. government?
Yeah, exactly. Feed and fudge.
Feed and fudge. No U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza, says Senator Grassley, unless something goes really wrong.
That was going to be one of my questions for him, too, and he volunteered it without having to ask.
Yep. Pipe right in.
Yeah, one of my... The question that I was going to ask is, do you ultimately see U.S. forces on the ground? I think he would have said, I hope not, but it's a fluid situation and one that we're going to have to keep track of and make judgment as time passes. I didn't get around to ask him how satisfied he is with the response, but I think he would say that it's been measured and it is what it is for now. We're going to have to figure out what to do next when the time is appropriate. All right. Thank you so much for listening on this Monday morning. Come back this afternoon. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, Egg Bowl Media, right here on AgriTalk.
I'm Tyne Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report, the only weekend television show that features some of agriculture's biggest names, from custom commentary from John Phipps to the stories of antique iron with Machinery Pete, to a list of more than 30 marketing analysts. Our weekly program focuses on the topics that matter most to you. We invite you to join us each weekend for U.S. Farm Report, timely, trusted tradition.
This is Andrew McCrae, host of the American Countryside. I'm also a farmer and rancher from Northwest Missouri, and I hope you'll join me each week for Farming the Countryside, as we take a look at the top issues impacting agriculture as told by the people farming and working in their industry. We'll talk about markets and trade, share some of the latest tips and trends for grain and livestock producers, and take a look at trends impacting rural America. Join me for Farming the Countryside on many local radio stations or on your favorite podcast platform, or just go to farmingthecountryside.com.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Down 3 to 4 for corn. December off 3 cents, $4.90 1/4. March down 3 1/2, $5 and a nickel. July down 4, $5.17 3/4. November soybeans up 1 1/4, $12.81 1/2. January up 1, $13 and a penny. And May unchanged, $13.26. December wheat down 2 3/4, $5.77. KC down 2 3/4, $6.66 1/4. Livestock, December lean hogs down 87, $68.62. December live cattle up 45, $187.20. November feeders down 77, $250.80. Stock markets up almost 400 points. Crude oil down 46, $87.23. This is the RFD Radio Network.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM, W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A top European Union official says the bloc's leaders will hold an emergency summit on Tuesday as concerns grow that the war between Israel and Hamas could fuel intercommunal tensions in Europe. Meanwhile, the wait continues for thousands of Palestinians at the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt. BBC correspondent Sebastian Usher reports Egypt is reluctant to open the border to Palestinian refugees leaving Gaza.
It's a very combustible situation down there. Egypt, which controls the Rafah crossing, does not want a huge influx of Palestinians. One, for its own security. Two, it doesn't want to be seen doing what would be seen in the Arab world, the Muslim world, as Israel's bidding. The fear, the concern amongst many Arabs is that once the Palestinians have left, they may never go back, and Egypt does not want to facilitate that.
There are only two other border crossings from and into the Gaza Strip. Erez, a border crossing with Israel in North Gaza, and Kerem Shalom, a solely commercial junction between Israel and Gaza. Both are now shut. Also at townhall.com, Americans have ethical concerns about President Biden and his son Hunter. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton with that report.
A new poll points to a cloud of ethical uncertainty hanging over the president as he runs for re-election. 35% of U.S. adults believe Mr. Biden has done something illegal, according to a new AP NORC survey. Another third thinks the president behaved unethically, but not illegally. The findings come amid investigations into the president's son, Hunter, and a Republican-led impeachment inquiry in Congress. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Stocks sharply higher, the Dow up 349 points, the Nasdaq adding 131. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
As we hear in this BBC report, 4 Ukrainian children are being reunited with their families in a pilot scheme to return more of the thousands that were abducted by Russia since its first full-scale invasion last year.
Quietly, behind the scenes, Qatar has been working with both Russia and Ukraine to help resolve one of the most painful consequences of Russia's invasion. Kyiv says up to 700,000 of its children have been forcibly separated from their families, taken across the border into Russia, and brainwashed into forgetting all about their Ukrainian heritage. During the summer, Qatar's Prime Minister visited both countries after a request from Ukraine to act as a mediator. Now the first group of Ukrainian children are being returned with help from the Qatari embassy in Moscow. Their ages range from 2 to 17, and their families are from different parts of Ukraine.
BBC correspondent Frank Gardner reporting. Breaking news at townhall.com. Control of the Virginia Senate and House of Delegates will be decided next month in one of the nation's most pivotal state elections. But reporter Anne-Marie Morgan tells us that Virginians need to be aware of new district boundaries and that the early voting has already begun.
Voters can see which candidates and districts are theirs online at vpap.org or vpap.org. Merv Bold lives in a Richmond suburb and urges more voters to show up.
There are a lot of laws on the line, a lot of seats in the General Assembly on the line. So Christians need to get out and vote so that their voices are heard and we can get the people in who will stand for our values.
Virginians can now vote in person at their local registrar's office or vote absentee. I'm Anne-Marie Morgan reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
Christmas parade is Saturday, December 2nd, 2 o'clock, same route down Main Street around the square that it has been. And I'm excited this year to announce that Marion Bizard is our Grand Marshal for the parade. I can tell you that was
quarter number 3. We'll talk with Kurt Blades for the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. And then we'll wrap up the show in segment 4 with news headlines today. A new study shows the soybean industry has made a $124 billion impact on the U.S. economy. We're going to hear thoughts about that, as well as bold management considerations for rebuilding your herd. Those are just some of the headlines we're going to take a look at coming up here later in the program. Right now, though, let's take a look at what's going on in the market trade. Joining us here to kick off the program, Darren Newsom, senior market analyst with Bar Chart, is with us. Darren, great to have you back on the show. I hope you're doing well.
Doing well, Jesse. Appreciate you having me